Well, it is time again for another trip. So we are taking our sketchbook on a journey to San Diego, and we're going to do a little travel sketching, hopefully at the San Diego Zoo. That is something that I'm really looking forward to. So let's go ahead and jump right in. Let's start off with a little fit check right before we head out to the San Diego beach. And we were so lucky to get a hotel room really just steps away from the beach itself with a nice balcony view of the ocean. That's Richard walking the sand. We had such a nice time the first day in San Diego, just hanging out on the beach. We even went for a 10-mile beach run before sunset, which was crazy, but so worth it, even if I did get a little sunburn on my face. As soon as we decided to go to San Diego for a weekend, we both knew that we really wanted to go to the zoo, and I knew I really wanted to sketch at the zoo because there is just so many incredible things there that we don't normally see out in nature, not in the wilds of Los Angeles at least. And I chose the baboon for my first sketch for a couple of reasons. The first one being the location. There was a fantastic sitting area right in front of a large glass wall that allowed you to look into all the different levels of the enclosure. The other reason is just the way baboons look in general, like their natural aesthetic. There were a lot of really cool monkeys at the zoo, but the baboons themselves have such strong characteristics, from their red bottoms to their silky fur. It's just really distinct and a lot of fun to draw. I have to admit I was rushing because I was there with Richard and I didn't want to take up too much time. But the drawings do get better as we go along, and I get the hang of how to draw these animals in a more simplified style. If you were heading out to the zoo with your sketchbook, what animal would you choose? Would it be a monkey? Would it be the baboon? Would it be a different one? Let me know down in the comments, and keep watching to find out what other animals I draw next. Besides seeing a variety of monkeys, we also saw a wide variety of bears while we were at the zoo. We saw black bears, we saw brown bears, and we saw a polar bear. And I chose to draw the polar bear just because we were able to get really close to it compared to the other bears. And here is a great example of that in these photos of Richard. He is like right up against the glass with the bear just over his shoulder, which was really close in person. Another benefit to drawing the polar bear is that this guy was just conked out, sleeping. He wasn't moving around. It can be kind of hard to draw things that are constantly moving. For example, there was this really cute bear family at the zoo. There was a mama bear with her 2 cubs, and they were absolutely adorable, but they were constantly moving in and out from behind different structures that were kind of obscuring my view, so it would be really difficult to get a clear view of them in order to be able to draw them, and that's if they even sat still long enough to be drawn. There is like this other shot I have of the 2 cubs in the hammocks that they have, but even then they were like constantly rustling around and not really getting settled in quite like this polar bear was like really settled in. And here I just add a pop of color before we move on to the next page. I don't know if it's obvious from those clips what I'm drawing next, but it is the giraffe. And something Richard and giraffes both have in common is that when taking photos with them, I am barely tall enough to get my head into the photo. I am 5'2" tall, he is 6'3" tall, and that just makes me wonder how tall exactly were these giraffes. The only thing larger than a giraffe that we saw on this trip was probably the elephants, and they were also amazing to see. I really do love elephants. It was definitely my favorite animal as a small kid, back when, you know, it was important to know what your favorite color and favorite animal was. Comment down below what you think my favorite color was, and I'll let you know if you guess it right. And let me know what was your favorite animal, what is your favorite color. And it's okay if you didn't have one, and if you still don't have one now, or if you do have one now, go ahead and let us know what it is. Aside from just being a really large animal, I think anatomically the closest thing that we saw to a giraffe at the zoo was probably the camel. But this guy took up the whole page, so we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up here and show you the final images from the sketchbook session before we roll the tapes on some honorable mentions. That is a wrap on San Diego Zoo, but we did have one more stop on our trip, and that was Old Town San Diego. And I'm going to show you just a couple of my favorite photos, but fortunately my cell phone had died, so there aren't any videos, but Richard was willing to take these photos for me, including of this really pretty bracelet and ring set that we picked up in Old Town. The food was great, the tourism was great, we had so much fun, and if you enjoyed this video, don't miss out on my other sketchbook travel vlogs. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.